Young Animator of the Year UK is a competition to find the best young animators aged 18 or under in the UK. And we're asking you to make a short film under 2 minutes long and then submit that. And it can be done in 2D animation, 3D animation, or stop motion. And the way you submit it is you create an account on the younganimator.uk website and then upload it. The winners, which will be announced later in the year, will not only be kind of crowned as best young animator, they can also win tours of superb animation studios in the UK, such as the world famous Aardman Animations and Blue Zoo as well. So I hope you've been busy making animations, or you're midway through, but we've got some tips to share to make them even better. So I think first, Chloe's going to share her tip.
So my tip is about making it characterful, about characterful posing. And you want to kind of ask, how can you convey a character's personality, their intentions, their movement and emotion, and more, just through a pose alone, just one single pose, stationary. Like if you look at their silhouette, can you gauge all of these things just from this single pose? Like if you look at Tarzan, for example, sometimes he's posed as an animal, sometimes as a human. You go to see how that can kind of affect your animation, and use the line of action. Keep it simple, but like using the line of action, you can kind of show a lot of emotion, like just through this one kind of line alone. For example, the character was like looking this way. It might be a simple line in this direction, but can you really push it? Like, can you exaggerate from real life, looking at real life actors, for example, or maybe taking a video of yourself?
Excellent. So Tim, what's your tip?
Well, my background is after finishing an animation because I wasn't that good. I started into production management, so I'm going to be the one that pours cold water on everyone's ideas. My tip is to keep it simple, because 120 seconds isn't a lot of time. So what you want to do is, we want to encourage ambitious pieces. You really want to make sure you get everything done on schedule. Keep it simple in terms of knowing what your story is. Can you encapsulate what you want your film to do in a sentence? Can you pitch it to someone and say, my film is about such and such, and does that get across what you want it to be? Having watched the films that have come through before, it can be done. You can tell amazing stories in 120 seconds, but just make sure you know what you're getting into as you start out on your journey with this. There is a lot to be said for having a good plan, which I know is the next tip coming up.
So my tip is have a plan, which has already come up because it's unavoidable if a tad boring. And so when I say have a plan, I mean, when we run 3D Anime, we do a lot of process in here to try and keep it so that you're going to get your film done in our very tight time budget. And so we start with making sure the films are short enough. This is keeping it simple. And one of the things we do there is we check that people can pitch the film in under 60 seconds. If it's going to take more than 60 seconds to pitch the film, it's going to end up too long. In my experience, a film with pitches in 60 seconds is probably going to end up at 3 minutes long. As artists, our inclination is always to polish, keep making things better. And so you have to sort of make sure that you know that getting it done is more important than that polishing. So sometimes you just have to shrug and move on.
The final tip that I had was use the right program. So as we've got a few different disciplines of animation styles that you can submit, it's all about picking the right software for that style. So one of the easiest ways to get into animation is by using stop motion, because you don't have to learn more complicated software. You can just kind of make plasticine creatures or characters on your desktop, and then use an app on a phone or tablet like Stop Motion Studios, the most popular one, which has been loads of great animations have been made in that. and there's a free version of that as well, I think. And then if you're doing 2D hand-drawn animation, there's a software called Critter, which is free to download, and you can do really good hand-drawn frame-by-frame animation on that. And then if you're doing 3D, we recommend using Blender, and that's amazing at making 3D animations. And the best way of learning those is by watching YouTube tutorials. If you just type into YouTube the name of the software plus tutorial, there's an abundance of tutorials which recommend, and then just practice. You could always practice using the software before jumping in to make your short film for this. But yeah, it's best just to jump in and learn and have a play with it. Cool. Cheers for those tips. Hopefully they'll help people think about how to approach their animation and make it.